Welcome back to Learn with Chris. I'm Chris. So in the last 3 videos related to TOEIC, we went over the present tenses, past tenses, and future tenses. So today we're going to put them all together and we're going to get some practice questions. So I've prepared 12 practice questions for the 12 different tenses. And I'm going to put them up on the screen and we'll go through them. So I'm going to show you all 12 questions first, and then we'll go through them one by one. So on the reading test, you will get a lot of grammar questions. So understanding verb tenses in English would be very useful for getting a good score on the TOEIC test for the reading. So let's have a look at the first question. They blank on the new project at the moment. A, work. B, working. C, are working. D, were working. Number 2. By next month, he blank the project. A, finish. B, will finish. C, finished. D, will have finished. Number 3. They blank for 2 hours before the bus finally arrived. A, wait. B, waited. C, have been waiting. D, had been waiting. Number 4. Every morning, John blank for a jog in the park. A, goes. B, go. C, is going. D, went. Number 5. At 3 p.m. yesterday, she blank a book. A, read. B, is reading. C, was reading. D, had read. Number 6. She blank travel to New York tomorrow. She blank to New York tomorrow. A, will travel. B, travels. C, traveled. D, travel. Number 7. Susan and Bob blank English since 2019. A, are studying. B, have been studying. C, had been studying. D, studied. 8. The movie blank yesterday before we arrived at 8 p.m. A, start. B, started. C, has started. D, had started. Number 9. Thomas blank in Japan for 8 years. A, live. B, has lived. C, have lived. D, is living. Number 10. By the end of this year, I blank at the company for 10 years. A, work. B, worked. C, had been working. D, will have been working. 11. At this time next week, they blank to Japan. A, will fly. B, will be flying. C, are flying. D, flew. And lastly, number 12. Last year, we blank the Grand Canyon in the U.S. A, visit. B, visited. C, had visited. D, were visiting. So let's go through the answers. I'll put them up again, and you can pause the video while you can look at the questions and think about them. So the first one, what we want to do, of course, is we want to identify what verb tense is this sentence. So you want to be looking for either the context or looking for some key words in the sentence to let you know, oh, that's present simple tense or that's future simple tense or whatever. And then, of course, you have to pick the right tense to match. So for number 1, they blank on the new project at the moment. So the key word there is at the moment. When we're doing something at the moment, we're doing it right now. And that has to be present continuous tense. So the answer for this, of course, is going to be C, because are working. So verb to be, verb ing, that is the present continuous form. So they are working on the project at the moment. So number 1, C. Again, as we go through these, pause the video and you can look at the questions and hopefully find the answer for yourself. I'm just explaining them. So the next one. By next month, he blank the project. Okay, so by next month is a future time, and then we have another action finish. So if you remember from the last video, when we looked at future tenses, we talked about kind of like double time, where you have a time in the future and then you have an event, an action, and that's future perfect tense. So kind of like double future, right? So next month is a future time and he will have finished the project. So the answer is D. By next month, he will have finished the project. That is future perfect tense, D. The next one, number 3. They blank for 2 hours before the bus finally arrived. So keyword here would be for 2 hours. For is used in perfect tenses. And then before the bus finally arrived. So if we identify it's a perfect tense, so A and B are wrong because they're not future tenses, but have been waiting and had been waiting are both. So have been waiting would be present perfect continuous, and had been waiting would be past perfect continuous. So is this about the present or is it about the past? Well, 2 hours before the bus finally arrived, that's talking about the past. So it has to be past perfect continuous. So the answer is going to be D. They had been waiting for 2 hours before the bus finally arrived. This is quite a long sentence. But the answer is D. Number 4. Every morning, John blanked for a jog in the park. Every morning. That's a routine. That's something that you do on a regular schedule. And routines is going to be present simple tense. So the easiest of the tenses. So the answer, of course, is going to be A. John goes. We're using the first verb, the infinitive verb. But because John is a third person singular, he, she, it, we have to put S onto the verb. So B would be wrong here. Even though B, go, is present simple, we have to put S. So A is correct. John goes for a jog in the park. So that's going to be 4A. Next one. At 3 p.m. yesterday, she blank a book. So we have a specific time in the past. And so it's going to be some type of past. So B is going to be wrong. Is reading can't be correct. But it could be the others. So what was she doing at 3 p.m. yesterday? What was her continuing action? This is past continuous. So the answer is C. At 3 p.m. yesterday, she was reading a book. Answer C. 6. She blanked to New York tomorrow. Well, the key word is tomorrow. So that's obviously related to the future. So there's only one possible answer here. A. She will travel to New York tomorrow because B, C, and D, none of those are future. So it has to be A. This is future simple. She will travel to New York tomorrow. So again, look at the keywords like tomorrow or next or in, and they will tell you future simple. So the answer is 6A. Number 7. Susan and Bob blank English since 2019. So for and since are both keywords for perfect tenses. How long have you been doing something, or when did you start doing something? So this is going to be a perfect tense. So A is wrong because that's present continuous. D is wrong because that's past simple. So it has to be either B or C. Have been studying, which is present perfect continuous, or had been studying, which is past perfect continuous. But the context here is that they started learning or studying English in 2019 or 2019, and they are still doing it now. So when you have an ongoing action that started in the past and continues now, that is going to be the present perfect continuous, not the past. So the answer is going to be B. Susan and Bob have been studying English since 2019. Number 8. The movie blank before we arrived at 8 p.m. So here we have two actions in the past. The movie start and we arrive. Double past. And as we talked in the video about the past tense, double past is used for past perfect tense. So the answer is going to be D. The movie had started before we arrived at 8 p.m. Had started past perfect. Okay, number 9. Thomas blank in Japan for 8 years. So again, we have for. For is again, used for perfect tenses. And how many perfect tenses do we have here? A is not, that's present simple. D is present continuous. So it has to be B or C. Has lived or have lived. Well, Thomas is a third person singular, so we need the S, so has. I have lived or you have lived, but he has lived or she has lived or it has lived. So the answer is B. Thomas has lived in Japan for 8 years. Number 10. By the end of this year, I blank at the company for 10 years. For 10 years. So this is going to be another perfect tense, but by the end of this year, future. So these two things together should tell us the tense is either future perfect or future perfect continuous. But it's a continuing action of continuing the person has been continuing to work at the company for a total of 10 years. So it's a continuing action. So the best idea here would be future perfect continuous. So it can't be A or B because that's work and worked, which is just present simple and past simple. Had been working would be the past perfect continuous. This is not past, this is the future. So the answer must be D. By the end of this year, I will have been working at the company for 10 years. Very long sentence, rather complicated. But again, as I mentioned multiple times, these rare tenses like future perfect continuous, past perfect continuous are very rare and we don't use them very much. So not a big deal if you don't understand it so well. Okay, number 11. So 11. At this time next week, they blank to Japan. Next week means future, of course. So that eliminates C and D. Are flying would be present continuous, and flew would be past simple. So it has to be A or B. Will fly is future simple, and will be flying is future continuous. Now, we did talk about this in the future verb tense video. So future continuous is you pick a particular point of time in the future, and then what are you doing at that particular point of time in the future. So next week is that particular point of time in the future, and they will be flying to Japan at that time. So this is a future continuous sentence. So the answer is B. So the whole answer, at this time next week, they will be flying to Japan. And the last one, number 12. Last year, we blank the Grand Canyon in the US. Last year, past tense. So A is wrong because that's visit, present simple. So is it B, C, or D? Visited, past simple. Had visited, which is, of course, past perfect. Or were visiting, which is past continuous. This is just like one action in the past. So the answer is past simple. So it's definitely not past perfect because it's not two actions in the past, it's just one. It's also not an ongoing action either. That would be past continuous. So it's just past simple, B, nice and easy. Last year, we visited the Grand Canyon in the US. So that's it. That's all 12 questions. If you have any questions, you can comment in the comment section. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. So please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next TOEIC video. Have a good day, and take care.